A very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Sharad Dorji. Our top stories this week. His Majesty the King graces the inauguration ceremony of the Bebji rehabilitation program in Ha. 2 candidates selected through the civil service examination fails drug test. And retirement benefits for the national workforce to be looked at. Now the details. His Majesty the King graced the inauguration ceremony of the Bebji rehabilitation program in Ha. The national program, initiated under the command of His Majesty, is to alleviate poverty and improve livelihood of the landless and socio-economically disadvantaged people.
Before 2011, life was difficult for Kancha Rai, since his family had no land to inherit. For generations, they had been practicing sharecropping in Saijong, a remote village which was then under Samsi.
With the family members expanding but no land, I was worried. Also, there was no school. So I left my village and moved to Paru in 2005, looking for better opportunities.
But post-2011, Kancha's life took an upward trajectory. Along with his community in Saijong, he was granted Kidu under the National Rehabilitation Program. He received about 2.5 acres of land, which included 50 decimals as Kimsa.
There's a school nearby and a BHU too. This land is dear to me. It will be difficult parting with it. I am very happy and grateful to His Majesty for granting us the Kidu.
Like Kancha, there are 67 other households who are benefited with the rehabilitation program at Bebji in Sambekha Gyok. Along with land to cultivate, they were provided with a decent house and basic amenities and other socio-economic services. Today, after almost 6 years since the project started, the beneficiaries have become successful cardamom farmers. Last season, they generated about 6 million newton worth of cardamom.
Earlier, we had nothing. We didn't have proper land to cultivate. But today, His Majesty the King has provided us with everything. We feel blessed to be born in Bhutan under His Majesty's reign. We are all happy.
We were provided with everything, ranging from a house to live in, to essential food items, to farming tools. Even my father hasn't done as much as what His Majesty the King has done for me.
According to the Royal Command, similar rehabilitation projects have been implemented in Lunsi, Pemagasil and Samruzonkar, benefiting 177 households. Meanwhile, for Kancha and family, it is just the beginning. His third harvest of cardamom is ready for market, and with its yield increasing every year, Kancha now looks forward to better days. For Sonam Wangdin Ha, Tanden Finso for BBS News.
Bhutan Kyunyam Party and Druk Finsom Tsokpa made more announcements on their new candidates in the past weeks. People's Democratic Party announced 3 new candidates during their party convention last month and plans to reveal more. The 2 other registered political parties, Druk Chirwang Tsokpa and Druk Nyamrup Tsokpa, have not made any official announcements.
Bhutan Kyunyam Party announced a new candidate last week. Dr. Singya Namgyal, a former civil servant from the education sector, will contest from Khar Yurung constituency in Pemagasil. Druk Phinsum Tsokpa on their Facebook page announced 2 former civil servants as their new candidates. Prem Kumar Khatiwara will represent the party from Lhamoi Zinkha Trashiding constituency in Tagana, and K.D. Chamling is their candidate for Phinsupel Samse constituency in Samse. Drukchirwang Tsokba says they will reveal their candidates during the party convention, but the date has not been decided yet. Druk Nyamrup Tsokba shared they are planning to make their announcements only after the National Council elections. Yisha Gelson, BBS News.
Within the construction sector, roads do not have a good reputation for their quality of construction, and study shows corruption could be a cause. A research by the Anti-Corruption Commission found higher prevalence of corruption in the road construction sector.
A huge amount of capital is invested in road construction sector. But going by the Commission's findings, the investments made in the sector do not match the benefits that were expected of it. Research findings by the Anti-Corruption Commission show higher prevalence of corruption in the form of favoritism, besides bribery, abuse of privileged information, and bid rigging. Bid rigging is a form of fraud where a contract is promised to a contractor, but for the sake of appearance, several other contractors also present bids. Some causes of corruption include poor supervision and monitoring, dishonesty, and lack of accountability. It was found that contractors acquire materials illegally and execute the contracts without proper monitoring. It is also found that the road construction projects are challenged with undue influence from politicians and highly influential public officials, resulting in time and cost overruns. Further, the study also goes on to show how improper planning, ineffective coordination among agencies, and lack of capacity development for engineers and contractors hinder the road sector in making contributions proportionate to the budget allocated for it. It is estimated that the road sector accounted for a loss of over 78 million yutam to GDP every year from 2010 to 2015. To reduce the issues of corruption in the road sector, the Anti-Corruption Commission recommended relevant agencies such as Works and Human Settlement Ministry and Construction Development Board to develop standard operating procedures for effective contract implementation, supervision and monitoring. Pup Game for BBS News.
2 candidates selected through the civil service examination for recruitment into the civil service this year have tested positive for drugs. The Royal Civil Service Commission will now give them the opportunity to appeal. The Commission will relook into the matter and decide accordingly. Today was the last day for the drug test of 385 candidates. If tested positive, the candidates will lose the slot and it will be given to the next candidate as per the ranking. A commission official said the candidates will be handed over to the Bhutan Narcotics Control Authority for treatment and other interventions. However, they can sit for the civil service exam next year. The test, according to the commission, is to maintain a drug-free civil service and support the national effort to curb drug abuse.
Due to this civil servant drug test, it will be great motivation for those youth who are taking drugs but wants to join civil service. So when there is a drug testing before joining the civil service, they will try to refrain from taking drugs.
I think it is a good initiative as it will help maintain drug-free civil service. Younger generations in future will also be able to know the ill effects of drugs.
Urine samples are collected for the test. The test kit detects 10 different types of drugs, and the results are shown within a few minutes after the test and made available to the candidates. The Royal Civil Service Commission, in collaboration with the Bhutan Narcotics Control Authority, conducted mandatory pre-employment drug test. The 4-day drug test ended today. For Pema Selden Siring, Sherab Dorji, BBS News. The Bhutan Agriculture and Food Regulatory Authority seized over 2,900 kilograms of banned imported vegetables in the Centenary Farmers Market. An informer alerted the officials about it through Bafra's toll-free number 115.
Vegetable vendors watched as Bafra officials unloaded and checked every basket. This truck was caught yesterday night. The 125 baskets of imported green chilies, cauliflowers and beans which were illegally brought in were seized. The Tsokba of the Centenary Farmers Market said that the vendors are compelled to import banned vegetables due to the limited availability and the increasing demand of such vegetables.
We respect the efforts put in by Bafra. They have banned the import of such vegetables to help us. We know these kinds of vegetables contain pesticides which can affect us in the long run. But the demand for such vegetables is increasing and we are failing to produce it within the country.
Some of the vendors also said buying and selling local vegetables is very expensive.
According to the Bafra's Food Rules and Regulations of Bhutan 2017, under Section 105, the person involved in such practices will be subjected to a fine equivalent to 10 times the market value of the commodity.
The seized vegetables were later dumped at the Memelaka landfill site. Import of chili, cauliflower and beans were banned last year after unacceptable levels of pesticide residue were found in it. Pasang Doji, BBS News.
Early childhood care and development is considered vital for a child's overall growth. According to Bhutan Living Standards Survey report, only 1 in every 6 children aged 2 to 5 have attained education through ECCDs and daycares. The Education Ministry considers the achievement significant. More programs are also being carried out for the further development.
The number of children who have gone to early childhood care and development centers and daycares is only 16%. This is according to the Bhutan Living Standards Survey Report 2017. The report states only around 8% of children aged 2 to 5 have gone to ECCDs, while another 8% have gone to daycares. Although minimal, the Education Ministry says the achievement is significant. This is in consideration of the fact that Bhutan has been a late entrant in the Early Childhood Development Program, which started only 10 years ago.
Looking at how far we come, it is quite a significant achievement. But from here on, we have targets such as the Education Blueprint target, which mandates a coverage of 50% of all children aged 3 to 5 to have access to ECCD centers.
The ministry has also other targets such as the 1 ECCD for every chok, which is expected to be achieved by 2028. The Sustainable Development Goals 4.2 target also aims to provide full ECCD access to every child by 2030. The biggest challenge in their efforts has been lack of awareness, which is still prevalent.
Initially, when we began, of course, there was a lack of awareness on the importance of ECCD as an intervention for young children. And there still is, to a large extent, this lack of awareness among different levels of people, starting right from the policy decision makers level to the grassroots level.
Another challenge they currently face is not being able to take in all children. With private ECCDs being quite expensive, the government-initiated centers are not able to provide seats to all the children. Ishe Galson, BBS News.
The Tourism Council of Bhutan will organize a familiarization tour for the members of the Association of Bhutanese Tour Operators to sacred sites in Lhunche and Monga in January next year. This is mainly to improve and strengthen domestic pilgrimage in the country.
At the Meet the Press today, Prime Minister Tasho Singh Topge said tour operators will see the feasibility of promoting sacred sites in the 2 Dzongkhags among the local pilgrims. They will also study the requirements of additional facilities in such sites. In case of Ajane in Mongar, Minister Yeshidoji said park officials are already working on improving its routes, dwelling and other basic facilities. Apart from promoting domestic pilgrimage, the Prime Minister said the government has also asked the Tourism Council to explore opportunities to encourage domestic tourism.
The Panbanglu River Guides Association the Khonlu, the Jungi Japsu Bedi Eco Lodge
For instance, we have a River Guides Association and Ecolodge in Panbang. We have asked the Tourism Council to render necessary supports to the association and promote the place as a destination for local tourists in winter.
The Constitution mandates the state to preserve, protect and promote the cultural heritage of the country, including monuments, places and objects of artistic or historic interest. Songs, lagas, günde, tensum, ne, language, literature, music, visual arts and religion to enrich society and the cultural life of the citizens. Today, there are over 9,000 sacred pilgrimage sites in the country. For Chengadoji, Pubgame for BBS News.
Gratuity and retirement benefits such as pension and provident fund have always been a life savior for veteran civil servants post-superannuation. But this is not the case with the national workforce laborers. Some of them have served for more than 5 decades.
These men and women start their work by 8 in the morning and return home only after 5 p.m. Their job is to maintain roads, which is risky at times. They are paid a maximum of 8,600 ngutram every month. Along with it come free accommodation and other safety kits, including boots and raincoats. But their biggest worry is after their retirements.
Whether it rains or shines, we have to work. We work even during odd hours. If vehicles or buses are stranded on the road, then we must go and help. So now, when we resign, if the government can help us with gratuity and PF, we will be very grateful.
If we have some money, our children, including neighbors, will say they will look after us. But if we don't have anything, no one will be willing to take care of us, and by then, we will be too old to work. That's why we face lots of troubles in the old age. We would be grateful if the government can arrange us some benefits at the end.
Since they are contract employees, the government is going to review the policy. But the government has also plans to set up maintenance centers that will cater to the needy retired national workforce employees. It will also have ECCD centers and other facilities. I'm Gewangchuk, PBS News.
The Tourism Council of Bhutan will construct additional roadside toilets. Today, there are 29 toilets. It is to maintain a clean environment as the number of tourists visiting Bhutan increases every year. Currently, most of the tourists complain about lack of proper toilet facilities.
Most of the tourists visit Bhutan to enjoy the country's unique culture and tradition. Most importantly, they are nature lovers. But it becomes a problem when they have to answer the call of nature.
I think that in a tourist place, there should be some toilets for the public. It is very inconvenient to do toilet here. So in my point of view, there should be some sanitary toilet.
I feel it without toilets in your sightseeing is not so good. It's not comfortable for us, and it's necessary to have a restroom. It's very important for the women.
To address this issue, the Tourism Council has decided to build toilets with basic amenities at Dobjizong in Paro, Hongso Immigration Checkpoint in Thimphu, and Yotongla in Trongsa. The locations were based on the feedbacks received from the tourists, tour operators and guides. The toilets will be disabled friendly.
It may not be enough with 29 all over the country. Our aim is to increase and put basic amenities. We call it the roadside amenities, which includes cafeteria with toilets in the relevant places where people need to stop by and take a break.
He added that the toilets will not only benefit the tourists but also the local travellers. Kilidim, PBS News.
More and more farmers are now growing hazelnut trees. Once fallow, lands are now slowly turning into orchards. It is now in Laurigeok in Samrup Zonka, farmers are encouraged to grow hazelnut trees since the prospect of generating income is small.
60-year-old Doji Siring in Laurigeok is busy weeding. He planted about 450 saplings of hazelnut trees early this year. Old clothes are placed in the open fields to keep away birds and animals. He is hopeful of a successful harvest and earn some cash in the coming few years.
It has been about 9 months now and the saplings are healthy and growing well. If animals do not damage it, it will grow fast. We are told that the trees will start bearing fruits in about 4 to 5 years' time. I think I can earn some income from it.
We were interested to grow hazelnut trees after the government told us to do so. I don't know about the outcome, but we are working hard hoping to earn some cash. Until we try it, we can't say anything, but I hope it will be beneficial.
Officials from the Mountain Hazelnut Venture Private Limited said climatic condition is suitable for hazelnut cultivation. The project distributed more than 100,000 hazelnut saplings free of cost in Lauri and Serti Geoks. Farmers of Orung, Gomdar and Marsala Geoks are also into hazelnut cultivation. The first trees were planted in 2008 in Tashikang. Fukilemonchu in Sandrojonkar, Sunampem for BBS News.
For residents of Panbang, the wait for a fuel depot is getting longer than it seemed. Talks regarding the facility have been going on for 3 years now, and yet nothing has come of it.
Following the approval of the Trade Department, the site for the fuel station was identified at Tunku Tempa, located along the Panbang Gongfu Highway. In absence of a fuel depot, residents have to travel to Jemgang or Nganglam to refuel their cars and avail themselves of other petroleum services. Most of the times, they end up buying fuel from unregistered suppliers in the locality. An official from Damshin Petroleum, the company supposed to provide the service, said the delay is due to change in the size of the plot. Following the new town planning, the land holding decreased and is not enough to set up a fuel station. The company has written to the Dzongkhag for reconsideration. Meanwhile, for the residents of Panbang, until the issue is resolved, the wait continues, coupled with dissatisfaction. For Pema Samdrup in Jemgang, this is Ringdandup, PBS News.
Well, that's all for this time. Wishing all our viewers a very happy new year. Until next time, this is Sharab Dorji saying goodbye.